We begin with breaking news. Former First Lady Barbara Bush has died. She was 92 years old. She's survived by her husband, former President George H.W. Bush. They'd been married for 73 years. She's also survived by 5 children, including former President George W. Bush. A spokesman says that the family will announce funeral plans as soon as practical. So Barbara Bush has always been a fixture of American politics for decades, and she made a lot of friends along the way.
Including the late wife of former Washington Senator Slade Gorton. King 5 political reporter Natalie Brandt talked with Senator Gorton earlier today and joins us now.
And over the past couple of days, we've just seen an outpouring of support from political figures across both sides of the aisle regarding Barbara Bush and her health. Earlier today, I spoke to former U.S. Senator Slade Gorton. He served in Congress during President George H.W. Bush's time in office. They worked alongside each other and at times socialized together, and their wives got to know each other. Slade Gorton shared with us some of his memories about Barbara Bush and favorite pictures.
I guess it was just that she is such an affirmative personality that everyone smiles when they're around her.
That includes former U.S. Senator Slade Gorton and his late wife, Sally, who made fast friends with the former First Lady during their time in D.C.
The two of them just hit it off almost from the first time they met. I think it was partly because Barbara Bush had such a very outgoing personality and was easy to like. Sally was the same way. Barbara Bush had many friends like that, but she would come across a room when we were at a large party together to greet Sally, and maybe incidentally me, but mostly Sally.
Gorton recalls Mrs. Bush as not only outgoing, but strong. She's considered the rock of the Bush family, wife to one president, mother to another, nicknamed by her loved ones the Enforcer.
But she was a loving enforcer. She set high standards, and no one wanted to disappoint her by not meeting them.
A partner in her husband's long career in public service, she's also known for her devotion to working on literacy, starting a nonprofit with the goal of empowering families through literacy.
She wanted to do what she could to encourage people high and low all across the country from every kind of background to be members of strong families. I think her influence was exercised through her husband, George. He was lucky in the woman he married. He stayed in love with her through all of their lives together, and he would certainly listen to her. I imagine a lot of policies were developed by pillow talk.
While Gorton recalls the political climate during that time as still being tough, at times very divisive, he says the personal relationships were markedly better. Barbara Bush, one reason why.
She set an example of how people can disagree on issues and still get along well and appreciate one another. That's a lesson we need to relearn.
A beloved figure in American politics, and again, this outpouring of support that we've seen just illustrates that point. We know that Barbara Bush visited Seattle in 1992, even stopped by a local child care facility. My colleague Ted Land spoke to someone who met Barbara Bush and recalls meeting her very well, and he'll share that with you next half hour, so much more coverage still to come.
What a lot of people loved about Barbara Bush is that she spoke her mind. And even when Jeb Bush was considering running for president, she said, I think we've had enough Bushes in the White House. Yep. I mean, her own son. So, I mean, that says a lot about who she was, doesn't it?
Right, and why her nickname, the Enforcer. But again, as Slade Gorton recalled, a loving enforcer, someone who is known for her grit and grace, as former President Bill Clinton said just now on Twitter.
Wow. All right.
Natalie, thank you. It was wonderful to hear Slade Gorton's stories. Thank you.
And more coming up in our next half hour. Thanks, Natalie.